sees the means of production, and the like and subscribe button. So a territory grab might be like, why is Hungary even doing this? Well, Hungary is evil, and Serbs are evil. So they get along? Do I have that? Basically, the Serbian governor of the Serb majority part of the country is an insane Serb fascist who wants to secede, and the Serbian and Hungarian government is helping him. Also, he controls the local Serb police and has his own semi-private militia disguised as a special forces unit. The Serb leaders wanted separately for corruption. This is a good way of distracting. Okay, so Hungary is supporting this because they're evil. Serbia is supporting this because they're racist in favor of Serbian people. And the Serbian governor in Bosnia is doing this because he's trying to avoid corruption charges and probably also wants to, like, rule his own little fiefdom. Serbia is not directly supporting it, I think. Well, they're probably not stopping it, are they? Yeah, where's Hillary Clinton when you need her? Clearly we need to bomb Belgrade again. That'll solve it. Republika Srpska's a pretty sizable part of, What the fuck? Why is the Republika Srpska split into two? What the fuck? This shit is stupid, man. People will be like, Americans are so ignorant. They don't even understand European politics. And the European politics in question are the Balkans. Yeah, nice territory, dipshit. Your NATO intervention choosing for you? Idiot. Tito really did try. Tito was a idiot, dude. Couldn't he have, like, formed an empire? Not in the most, like, ethnically tense hotbed. If Tito had created, like, an empire that contained within it Italy, France, Germany, and the UK, there would have been less infighting than where he chose. He chose, like, the worst place he chose. Listen, we're simplifying it, okay? They need an hour in the get-along shirt. That's true. This is why borders that follow ethnic lines are a bad idea. True! People are like, bro, Britain is so evil for carving up, like, the Middle East and Africa with these lines that don't reflect tribal alliances. And then you look at what happens when you draw the lines along tribal alliances, and it's like, this wasn't any better. Ooh. Oh, boy. They just needed to Balkanize more, okay? Bosnia needs to be 3 separate countries. At a minimum. The borders of Bosnia look like that in part because of the that took place. Yeah, the Bosnians shouldn't have done that, or shouldn't have had that happen to them. I don't know whether the Bosnian was something they did or experienced. I don't know anything about Bosnia. Literally nothing. Both? Looks like somebody needs to spend some time in the get-along shirt. This was what the Serbs did to them? Of course. Blame the Serbs. How often will that heuristic steer you wrong? That's right. You don't need to understand the Balkans. You just need to be Serb-phobic. Unironically, it was all the Serbs. They were just out for blood. Yep, sounds like Serbs. Roman period. Jesus Christ. There's no the killing of Bosnian Muslim men and boys. It was mainly perpetrated by units of the Bosnian Serb Army of Republika Srpska, or the Ratko Mladic. Although the Serb paramilitary unit Scorpions also participated. Do Serbs know that to us Americans, they are Muslim? Do they know that? But it's a different kind of Muslim? Yeah, I guess. This is what Chomsky denies was a... Was it? Oh yeah, it was the Bosnian that he got his in a twist over. Well, I don't know. On Wikipedia, they call it the Srebrenica massacre, not the Srebrenica... I don't know. Orthodox Church is close to Islam in some ways. Yeah, of course. If you're based out of Constantinople for long enough, you just become Muslim. Didn't you all know that? Have you seen what Orthodox Christians look like? First of all, they have beard, which is Muslim. Big hat, which could be Muslim. The guys all look really tired all the time. That's Muslim. Vaush has a beard? Well, yeah, I'm Albanian. It's pronounced Srebrenica. I don't think I'm going to nail that one, to be honest with you. There's a Greek Orthodox church down the street from my apartment that was closed down. They turned into a mosque. All they had to change is swap the cross on top of the dome for a crescent. Maybe the Fourth Crusade was onto something. Maybe when they sacked Constantinople and, like, split Christendom forever, they were actually just identifying the proto-Islamic elements of the city's occupiers. I disagree. Noted. I'll put that in the booklet. Oh, okay. So, okay. So what's happening? History bits aside, what are we doing? Okay, so we're doing another Serbian question mark? We're doing something? We're doing separatism? We're building a new Yugoslavia, except it's just going to be Serbs? Yugo-Serbia? There was a Greek festival, and the priest said they don't keep their doors open all day like in the past because Albanians kept stealing all their gold idols. Hey, that's Serbian propaganda, okay? Real Albanians would never. What can I say? I saw their flag and I saw their war hymn. And what did they do? Characteristically, they stole my heart. All right, that's enough. That's enough European racism. Seriously though, isn't this like a big deal? Isn't this like a big deal? Bosnian Serb police conduct raid on federal office. Is Bosnia in the EU? I actually don't know. He threatens this fairly often. Yeah, but in this case, like being lent a few hundred, it's not? Okay. Being lent a few hundred paramilitary officers who change uniforms when they cross the border. That's, you know, Croatia's in the EU. Okay, okay. Dodik does fascist parades with his personal army every year and chants Chitnik slogans. This rally cost 40% of their national discretionary budget. The three-finger salute is a Serb nationalist thing, by the way. It's like their Sieg Heil. Okay, gotcha. This cost about $500. Exactly.
Pozivamo predsjednika Republike Srpske, gospodina Milorada Dodika, da nam se obrati.
Pomoć Bog, junaci!
I don't know, it sounds pretty fascist to me.
Braćo I sestre, Hristos se rodi. Evo nas ovdje. Ovo je
This is our guy?
Republika Srpska, organizovana, disciplinovana, koja sebe voli mir koji ima, voli svoje poljane, svoje planine, svoje ulice I gradove. Republika koja je naša, koja nema namjeru I ne želi nikome ništa loše. Republika koja slavi svoj rođendan 9.
Slav Hitler. Real ones know that Austria is also a Slavic country. It's also in the Balkans. Real ones understand the Balkans begin at the English Channel and only go down from there.
Januar. Sretan dan Republike!
Well, that looks pretty bash to me. Yeah, I don't know. This seems bad. It also seems like this is pretty complicated. Like, maybe more complicated. Like, I'd have to do some actual reading on it and not just, like, 50 jokes about what little I know about the Balkans. Corruption ruling. Dodik told his supporters the conviction was nonsense and called on them to be cheerful. He then said Bosnia and Herzegovina had ceased to exist and, in an apparent move towards secession, had local laws passed that banned the presence of national law enforcement or judicial officials on Republika Srpska soil. Okay, it seems like he's not planning secession. It seems like he's doing secession right now. Like it seems like we're a little bit beyond. Dodik insisted he would not appeal against a verdict as he did not recognize the court's jurisdiction, but noted he could not stop his lawyers from appealing. The lawyers did so, and the appeal is due to be heard in the next few months. The verdict and Dodik's response represented a moment when Bosnia's long-term dysfunction tipped into a dangerous crisis that could split Europe. It showed that in a squeeze, the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban would actively side with Putin and allies such as Dodik rather than Brussels. During almost 2 decades in power, Dodik has been a frequent visitor to Moscow, showing there on Tuesday for the 3rd time since March. Serbia's authoritarian president, Aleksandar Vučić, also routinely backs Dodik in his standoff with Sarajevo and Western capitals. Vučić went to Banja Luka in solidarity after what he called the court's, quote, unlawful, anti-democratic verdict. They met again in Belgrade on Monday as Dodik made his way to Moscow. So, all in favor of the newly rearming European Union bombing his third of Bosnia into the Stone Age or something type shit? Learn how to read the accents? No! I will not learn how to read the Serb speak. What are you, crazy? Statistically speaking, you read at a 6th grade level. You're gonna come at me for trying rather than just reading everything out loud in a phonetically American English speech? You. Hassan does accents. Hassan is Slavic, kind of. It's Turkey type shit. It's complicated. How's that not yelling goal going for you? He's Turkish, Lamau. Listen, okay? If Turkey wants to be the bridge between the East and the West, it has to be Balkan. It has to be. You cannot take that away. Otherwise, what are we? It's right up against the Balkans and it's the bridge to the not Balkans, but it's not. No. Give me the Zizek video. Listen, the Balkans begins at the English Channel and it ends at the Suez. At the Yangtze, yeah. Israel is Balkan? Well, they sure act like it. Okay, yeah. Look, I'll try to read up a little more on this. It actually seems like it's a pretty huge deal. Look, I am fully in favor of like a militant de-Russification of the Balkans, because every Russia-aligned leader over there is like a corrupt autocrat. Like, you can't be directly aligned with the Kremlin and not be a piece of shit, you know? They all take money, they all like directly collaborate, and Putin, I mean, like, obviously since the invasion of Ukraine, but like just broadly is an enemy of freedom, love, and hope in the West. You know, a lot of these countries are shithole backwaters that have been ruled by autocrats that have direct ties to the Kremlin. If they act up and that leads to them getting crushed by the EU, I'm sorry, but you know, your fault. You know, like when people get mad about the NATO's incursion into Serbia. Well, my brother in Christ, you killed the Kosovars. You did that shit, like for fun, like. Don't do that then. Different conflict. It all comes back to the Serbs. Much in the same way that in the United States, I think it's fine for the political parties to be banned if those political parties are explicitly anti-democratic. I think it's okay for the EU to crack down on like people openly aligned with the guy trying to destroy and invade Europe. I think that's fine. Like that seems to make sense to me. I don't know why we should like civil democracy engagement ourselves into like treating them like serious participants in the EU democratic process. Fuck that. Hungary was literally planning on invading Ukraine. Oh, I wish a motherfucker would. Ukraine says it has busted Hungarian spy ring collecting military data. That's great. They might just be feeding it over to Moscow, but yeah, it's yeah. They're enemies of life itself. And unfortunately, like sometimes that means you get kicked out of the big boys club. All right, we arrived at the conclusion of this cursory introduction to the subject. We have learned always blame the Serbs and Russia. Okay, nice. We confirmed our priors, marking that one down as the Bosnia hullabaloo. I'll decode that one later. We got more to cover. Got more to cover. Got more donos to read. We're not done. Unrelated, but Kosovo is a statue of Bill Clinton, lol. Yeah, it's not really that surprising. Bill Clinton literally, like, presided over the end of the Kosovar. I mean, the Serbs were literally trying to, like, eradicate the Albanian sorry, not Kurd. The Albanian population in Serbia, or, like, what's now Kosovo. I mean, Bill Clinton didn't do it because he's a good guy. He's a bad guy and a